In 2005, the average American car lasted 200,000 miles. Today, the average American car is on a flatbed before it hits 100,000. That is not because engineering got harder. It is because somewhere between 2005 and today, the people building your car made a decision, a quiet decision, one that never made the press release and never appeared in the owner's manual. They decided that a car that lasts is a car that never gets replaced, and a car that never gets replaced is a problem for the quarterly earnings report. Today, we are going to show you the evidence, not the theory, the documented, on the record, filed in court evidence that every major manufacturer in America has been hoping you would never connect into a single picture. 5 engineering crimes. 5 documented patterns, and at the end, the 3 vehicles that mechanics still recommend to their own families because they were built before the industry changed the rules. If this is the information they do not want you to have, hit like and subscribe. Drop a comment. Which engine failed you? Now let us get into it. Engineering crime number 1, the warranty cliff. The average new car warranty in America covers 3 years or 36,000 miles for the basic vehicle. Powertrain coverage extends to 5 years or 60,000 miles on most brands. Those numbers are not accidents, they are engineering targets. A Nissan Rogue documented with a blown motor at just over 20,000 miles, not 100,000, not 50,000, 20,000 miles. That is roughly 2 years of normal driving for the average American. The engine that was supposed to power that vehicle for a decade was dead before the owner had finished the break-in period. A 2024 Toyota Grand Highlander, full engine replacement at 27,000 miles, less than 1 year old, $55,000 at purchase. The dealership held the vehicle for over a month, ran every diagnostic they had, and could not identify the root cause. They replaced the entire engine, not a component. The engine. Toyota's response was to offer a buyback at a price that would have left the owner $10,000 in the hole after depreciation, delivery fees, and taxes already paid. When the owner attempted to negotiate that number, Toyota went silent. A 2025 Mazda CX90 plug-in hybrid, top trim, $50,000 minimum. 2 days after delivery, the owner was back at the dealership because the car would not charge. 4 months in, documented fluid leak throughout the drivetrain. 5 months in, the transmission was completely dead. The replacement transmission was listed as back-ordered with an estimated wait of 5 additional months. 10 months without a functioning vehicle they had purchased new. Mazda corporate issued the standard public response. We are looking into it. Nothing was resolved. And then there is Hyundai and KIA. Service centers across the country have documented scenes that should not be possible in a functional industry. Rows of failed engines stacked 3 high, waiting to be shipped back to the manufacturer. Not used engines from high mileage vehicles. Engines from cars that failed within the warranty period, sometimes within the first 2 years of ownership. The same manufacturers who settled a $1.4 billion Department of Justice lawsuit over a systematic engine defect are still producing powertrains with documented failure rates that mechanics recognize on site. These are not quality control failures. Quality control failures are random. They produce a statistical distribution of problems across a population of vehicles. What mechanics are documenting is not random. It is a pattern. The same failure modes, the same mileage ranges, the same manufacturer responses across brands, across model years, across price points. When the same failure mode appears at the same mileage range across an entire industry, that is not coincidence. That is a shared design philosophy, and that philosophy was not chosen by the engineers. It was chosen by the finance department. Engineering crime number 2, the oil change trap. Modern manufacturers recommend oil changes every 7,500 to 10,000 miles. Some now push 15,000. Ford's owner manuals for certain F-150 configurations suggest intervals up to 10,000 miles as standard. GM's oil life monitoring system regularly calculates intervals above 8,000 miles for normal driving conditions. This is marketed as evidence of better engineering. Longer intervals mean more durable engines, more advanced synthetic oils, a product that needs less maintenance than what came before. Here's what the data from repair shops actually shows. An engine maintained at 10,000 mile intervals will perform acceptably through 80 to 100,000 miles. The oil does its job within the parameters it was designed for. The engine runs, the warranty holds, the customer is satisfied. After 100,000 miles, the cumulative effect of longer intervals becomes visible. Internal passages that depend on clean oil to stay clear begin to accumulate deposits. Piston rings that depend on lubrication to seal correctly show wear patterns inconsistent with their design life. Bearings that should last the life of the vehicle begin failing at mileages that a properly maintained engine would treat as its productive middle years. Oil consumption begins, the engine starts burning what it should be circulating, and the customer notices nothing until the low oil light comes on, at which point the damage is already done. By 120,000 miles, the owner faces a repair estimate the manufacturer calculated years before the car was sold. The alternative has been documented in the real world for decades. A 2010 Toyota Tundra with the 5.7-liter V8 engine. Oil changes every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. Basic maintenance, no major repairs, 350,000 miles. The engine is still running. Toyota no longer makes that engine. The official reason is emissions compliance and fuel economy targets. The sales data tells a different story. Owners of that engine were not replacing their trucks. The vehicle's lasted so long that the replacement cycle broke down. Sales of new Tundras declined during the years that engine dominated the market. Toyota introduced a new turbocharged engine architecture in the new generation Tundra. Why? That engine has documented oil consumption issues and has been subject to recall campaigns affecting tens of thousands of vehicles. New Tundra sales recovered after the engine change. That is not a coincidence. A naturally aspirated engine with a documented 350,000 mile service life is a problem for a company that needs to sell new trucks. A turbocharged replacement with documented failure modes is a solution. The engine did not disappear because it failed to meet regulations. It disappeared because it refused to fail on schedule. Engineering crime number 3, the technology trap. A touchscreen replacement on a modern vehicle costs $3,000 for the screen alone. That does not include labor. That does not include the dealer-level programming required to integrate the new screen with the vehicle's systems. $3,000 for glass and a display module. Every major function in a modern vehicle now routes through that screen. Climate control, navigation, drive modes, audio system. In many vehicles, the speedometer and fuel gauge are digital displays integrated into the same system. When the screen fails, the car is functionally unusable for normal operation. Not inconvenient, unusable. The screen will fail. Consumer electronics have an average lifespan of 5 to 7 years under normal use conditions. A touchscreen in a vehicle faces extreme temperature cycles, vibration, and humidity that no phone or tablet is designed to withstand. Automotive touchscreen failure is not a question of if, it is a question of when. For touchscreens, a climate control knob cost $40 at a parts counter and lasted the life of the vehicle. A temperature dial had no software dependencies, no programming requirements, and could be replaced by any mechanic in 30 minutes. The cost to restore climate control to a vehicle was measured in a single hour of labor. That component no longer exists in most new vehicles. It was replaced by a software menu that costs $3,000 when it fails and requires a dealer visit to restore. BMW replaced a system that worked with one that is objectively worse for the driver. For decades, BMW drive modes were a physical button: Sport, Comfort, Eco, one press. The car adjusted throttle response, transmission behavior, and suspension stiffness immediately. The action took less than 1 second and required no visual attention. The new BMW system requires the driver to open a menu, navigate to the mode selection screen, scroll to the desired mode, and tap to confirm every time while driving. The mode names have been updated to efficient, expressive, relax, and digital art. Digital art is a drive mode in a car that costs $80,000. This is not innovation. Removing a functional physical control and replacing it with a 4-step software process that requires taking your eyes off the road is not progress. It is regression with a marketing budget, and it is happening across every manufacturer simultaneously because every manufacturer is following the same strategic roadmap. The Ford Mustang Mach-E does not have door handles. It has push buttons recessed into the door frame. In a showroom, this looks futuristic. In a parking lot during a Wisconsin winter with ice covering the door frame, it means standing outside in sub-zero temperatures trying to locate a small button buried under a layer of frozen precipitation instead of pulling a handle that has worked reliably for 100 years of automotive history. This is the pattern. Replace something that works with something that looks newer. Charge more for it. Wait for it to fail. Charge more to fix it. Engineering crime number 4, the subscription model. Toyota now charges $15 to $25 per month for navigation on vehicles where the navigation hardware is already physically installed inside the car. The antenna is there, the processor is there, the screen is there, the software is there. The only thing that changes when the trial period expires is that Toyota's server stops sending an authorization signal to a component you already paid for when you bought the vehicle. Remote start requires a subscription. Voice assist requires a subscription. Connected services require a subscription. Safety monitoring features that were marketed as standard equipment during the purchase process require a subscription after the trial expires. The hardware does not move. It sits inside your vehicle, fully functional, waiting for a payment authorization that Toyota controls from a server farm somewhere that has nothing to do with your car. BMW tested subscription heated seats in 2022 in select markets. The heating element was physically installed in the seat. The wiring was connected. The thermal pad worked. The only barrier between the owner and a warm seat on a cold morning was a monthly payment to BMW Financial Services. Not for a part, not for a service. For permission to use a component already installed in a car they had already purchased. Mercedes-Benz has introduced subscription acceleration upgrades on vehicles where the hardware capable of higher performance is already installed. The engine does not change. The software governing how much power it delivers changes based on whether the owner is current on a monthly payment. Ford, GM, and Cadillac have all launched or announced similar programs. General Motors introduced Super Cruise, its hands-free driving system, as a subscription feature. Cadillac charges $25 per month for access to a system installed in the vehicle at the factory. This is not a trend. It is a coordinated industry-wide shift in the definition of ownership. Under the old model, you bought a car and owned everything in it. Under the new model, you buy a car and rent access to the features inside it indefinitely at a price the manufacturer can change at any time, for features the manufacturer can disable remotely at any time. A $70,000 Audi Q6 e-tron has a blank plastic panel on the driver's side door, not a button, not a covered port, a piece of textured plastic the size of a large button, flush with the door panel with no function. The manufacturer used the same door panel casting for both driver and passenger sides to reduce production costs. The passenger side has a button in that location. The driver's side does not need one, so the space is filled with blank plastic. In a $70,000 vehicle, blank plastic, because the cost of making a different door panel for the driver's side was line itemed out of the budget. That blank piece of plastic is the most honest thing a manufacturer has put inside a new car in 20 years. Engineering crime number 5, the price that does not match the product. In 2010, a base configuration Ford F150XL with a regular cab, two-wheel drive, and no premium features sold for approximately $22,000. In 2025, the same configuration, base trim, regular cab, two-wheel drive, no leather, no touchscreen beyond the base unit, no advanced safety package, sells for $39,345. Adjusted for inflation, that 2010 truck should cost approximately $31,000 today. The actual price is 28% above the inflation-adjusted figure. That premium is not engineering. The base F-150 uses a turbocharged engine with documented timing chain wear issues on earlier generations. The frame is the same ladder frame architecture Ford has used for decades. The cab dimensions have changed cosmetically, not structurally. The premium is brand equity. The premium is financing infrastructure. The premium is the knowledge that most American consumers will finance the difference rather than refuse to pay it. A Jeep Grand Cherokee, a brand that has ranked near the bottom of reliability surveys for consecutive years, now starts above $71,000 in upper trim configurations. A GMC Yukon Denali, a vehicle that shares its engine and platform with the Chevrolet Tahoe, a model with documented systematic engine failures in the 5.3-liter V8, crosses $100,000 fully configured. $100,000 for a platform with a documented engine defect. The prices have not risen because the product improved. They have risen because the financing system allows it, because brand loyalty sustains it, and because the manufacturers understood that as long as the monthly payment stays within the range a consumer will accept, the total price is irrelevant, and when the engine fails at 80,000 miles and the repair estimate arrives at $9,000, the calculation has already been made for the consumer. Trade it in, roll the negative equity into the next loan, start again. Once, the manufacturer wins twice, once on the sale, once on the failure. Here is what the data actually shows. The vehicles with the longest documented service lives share 3 characteristics: naturally aspirated engines without turbochargers, mechanical controls without touchscreen integration, oil change intervals shorter than the manufacturer recommends. The first option is pre-2018 Japanese vehicles with naturally aspirated engines, a 2015 Honda Accord with the 2.4-liter 4-cylinder, a 2016 Toyota Camry with the 2.5-liter V6. Any mechanic in any town can service either vehicle without a proprietary diagnostic subscription. No sealed battery systems, no over-the-air updates that can alter performance without notification. The depreciation curve has already played out. The reliability record is documented across hundreds of thousands of miles of real-world ownership data. The second option is the Toyota 4Runner with the 1GR-FE 3.5-liter V6, naturally aspirated, mechanically straightforward, independently serviceable. Mechanics who have worked on every generation of this engine describe it as the last major Toyota powertrain built around the principle that the vehicle should outlast the loan. When Toyota discontinues it, and they will, the used market price will reflect everything documented in this video. The third option is the maintenance decision that manufacturers have been quietly working against for 20 years. Change the oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles regardless of what the indicator says. The vehicles with documented 300,000 plus mile service lives share this practice almost universally. The owners did not follow the manufacturer's interval recommendation. They followed the older standard, the one that was in place when American cars regularly crossed 200,000 miles without major repairs. The manufacturer's recommended interval was not designed to maximize engine life. It was designed to feel reasonable while producing a specific outcome at a specific mileage. That outcome is a repair estimate on a schedule that the manufacturer calculated before the car left the factory. The data has been there for decades. The industry has been hoping you would not connect it. Subscribe if you want the information they do not want you to have.